All right. Hello, everybody. My name is Erica Empson. I am a customer success account manager at the California Integrated Travel Project, or Cal-ITP. Today, I'm joined by my fellow Cal-ITP customer success account managers, Lainey Mangan, Nina Din, and Marie Araneta, as well as Cal-ITP Benefits product manager, Andy Walker. We're pleased to welcome you to our webinar on Cal-ITP Benefits, a web-based tool to provide fare discounts to your riders. Today, we'll be providing an introduction to Cal-ITP and our benefits tool, including a demo of the tool's registration flow, and then leaving time to answer your questions. We can provide your agency with a copy of this presentation deck and the recording, which we also plan to post online. Next slide, please. So what is Cal-ITP? The California Integrated Travel Project, or Cal-ITP, is an initiative of our California Department of Transportation, Caltrans, and our state transportation agency, CalSTA, and it's funded by the state. We aim to provide a modern and consistent, simple, and more cost-effective transportation experience through California, both for your riders and to make it easier for you as an agency to provide that. And we do this by helping agencies establish a common payment system. By that, we mean debit and credit cards. Same way that your customers pay for a cup of coffee, they can pay for a ride on transit. We also look to enable agencies to provide real-time transit data via the standard known as the General Transit Feed Specification, GTFS. That provides live train, when you do the real-time version of GTFS real-time, provides live train and bus locations on standard mobile phone journey planning apps such as Apple Maps and Google Maps. Basically, when your rider fires up their phone, they don't have to download a specific app or a specific transit agency. They can just use the apps that are native to their phone, like Apple Maps and Google Maps. And then the piece that we're going to talk through today, and mostly, most of the time today, is automated eligibility verification and enrollment for reduced fares, such as older adults and veterans. Next slide, please. So when we say transit like coffee, we mean that wherever riders shop, they know that they can instantly and securely pay by tapping their contactless bank card or smart device on a contactless point of sale or POS terminal. You've probably all done that at this point at your local Target, Walmart, grocery store, and coffee shop. So we've been hearing customers across the globe appreciating the convenience of paying their fare the same way that they pay for that cup of coffee, taco, groceries. So Cal-ITP provides free technical support to public transportation providers that want to modernize their fare systems with contactless payments. Next slide, please. Across the globe, you can see our work and our partners' work in action. From London to New York and now in California, public transportation providers are allowing their riders to tap to pay for their ride. Cal-ITP projects include Monterey Salinas transit buses, SAC-RT light rail in Sacramento. You can see on the top right, one of the wrapped light rails, and Amtrak operated Capital Corridor trains that run between Sacramento and the San Francisco Bay Area. And then launched on the same day were Santa Barbara MTD buses and Santa Barbara Clean Air Express commuter coaches. You can see on the bottom right there, that's one of the coaches. They launched on the same day, meaning it was instantly interoperable for their riders. So previously, riders of those two agencies who come down from North County, Santa Barbara, into Goleta for UC Santa Barbara, and to get into the Cottage Health system in Santa Barbara, they had to purchase two separate fare passes or have exact fare pass for Clean Air Express and purchase with cash on Santa Barbara MTD. So we launched on the same day, and from a rider's perspective, it was seamless. They were able to tap on one, move to the other, tap on the other, and not have to stop to juggle exact change, buy that fare pass, download an app, etc. So great feedback on all those projects, and we're happy to assist you in providing free technical support. Next slide, please. Ways that we can assist, as mentioned, if you're looking for a contactless payment system, which is part of what powers Cal-ITP Benefits, we do have state contracts available. Our state of California is the 5th largest global economy, so our State Department of General Services went out, leveraged that buying power, and did the procurement on your behalf. It works for all California agencies. It's considered to be pre-procured. It's a bench contract, also known as master service agreements or master service MSAs, rather. And so you can join these bench contracts without having to go out to procure on your own. The RFP was put out and competitively awarded to hardware and software services providers in order for you to be able to modernize your fleet to accept bank cards and mobile wallet fare payments. So if you need any advice on any of that, we're happy to provide that. State of California, for unbanked and underbanked cash-based riders, is also able to point your agencies and your riders toward free digital bank accounts and prepaid debit cards. These can be used with full and reduced fares, such as Cal-ITP Benefits, or anywhere else that Visa or MasterCard, and coming soon, Discover and Amex are accepted. We can also assist with our Cal-ITP Transit Data Quality team on your GTFS feeds. So if you do not currently produce one, or if you do produce one and you sometimes have some trouble with it or need some help working with your vendor to make it public, we can do all of that. So we'll give you information on how to reach out to us at the end of this call. We're happy to assist on that. And then the bulk of this call will, of course, be on automated eligibility verification and enrollment for reduced fares, such as riders who are older adults and veterans. So any of the above, we're happy to assist with. And if you also, we can connect you to any kind of state level assistance. We can also help with public-private partnerships. So we work with Apple, Google, and the aforementioned payment networks, Visa, MasterCard, Discover, and Amex. So if you ever need any help in any of those areas, we are happy to connect you with those resources. Next slide, please. So why are we here? What does Cal-ITP Benefits do? Well, right now, providing reduced fares to your riders, the current practices are pretty time consuming, costly to operate, hard to navigate. So for program participants, that can mean inconvenient in-person appointments, and not just for one agency, but agency by agency if they have ones that they connect to as part of their journey. It's largely or almost entirely paper-based documentation. They have to trust your storage of personal data of theirs. And the policies vary by jurisdiction, many different kinds of accounts and processes. They might need one form of documentation with one agency, and the agency right next door might require something else. Again, two different appointments. And often they have to carry a closed loop, as in regional fare card or agency specific fare card, or even a path that they have to flash to the driver to verify their eligibility when boarding. And that can be a more cumbersome process. And of course, they always have to remember to carry that with them. And with that, I'm going to transition over to Andy to talk about the Cal-ITP Benefits solution that we're offering.
Yeah, so thanks, Erica. And in addition to this being challenging for riders, it's also challenging for all of you who run agencies because while the FTA gives pretty specific requirements on who has to be represented in your discount program, it doesn't give you any guidance as to how to do that. So we see agencies throughout the state, approaching this in very different ways. And so each agency effectively has to reinvent the wheel. So this means spending significant staff time verifying eligibility for riders for in-person visits. You might have different procedures for each program. In addition to the rider having to share their personal data, it means that the agency also has to manage and protect that personal information, which is a big burden. And for policy changes or any kind of new program, there's substantial lead time to implement that. So for example, if you wanted to offer a veterans discount, there would be a variety of different things you would have to do as part of each program throughout the state to make that a reality. And then lastly, many programs require the operator of like a bus, for example, to verify a benefit, and that really slows the boarding process. So it's all in all a real burden for all of you, and I'm sure I'm only telling you what you already know. So today we'll get into the solution that we're offering, and that is Cal-ITP Benefits. And this is a web-based tool, so it's available anywhere there's an internet connection. And it offers then enrollment for riders wherever they are. It's a very simple application. Instead of having to share a card, a specific agency card, for example, or use a closed loop card, this simply links the discount to the contactless bank card. So that means that when the rider boards the bus, taps to pay, they automatically receive the reduced fare. So in addition to that, we're also any agencies that are part of Cal-ITP Benefits, it's really they're joining a policy that is set statewide. For example, the definition of a senior at 65 years and older. And so this means that it's simpler for agencies, but also less confusing for riders, especially in regions such as in the Los Angeles area. We have a number of different agencies with a variety of different age limits for seniors. So a senior riding from one part of the region to another might, be eligible for one policy or a discount under one policy, and then in the next region they wouldn't. For example, if they were 65 or 62, excuse me. So the way we're thinking about benefits is contactless payment will largely be a supplement or a complement to existing fare collection programs that you have. And so benefits allows you to offer the riders who want to use contactless payment a way to get their benefits immediately in a way that's compliant with FTA requirements. And so much like the process of going into an agency, qualifying for a benefit and enrolling, the digital solution is in some ways a metaphor for that. And so there are really three phases that a rider will go through when they complete this process. The first part is authentication. And really, we need to know who you are. And so when you walk into an agency and you have like a driver's license or some other form of ID, that identity verification is very simple. It's more complicated online, and so this part of the solution that we're offering is digital identity verification, and I'll explain that a bit more. And then secondly, the eligibility check that happens is done digitally through partner agencies throughout the state and actually nationally as well. So what happens is that we check your eligibility through an API, and that comes back to the benefits app, and it says yes or no. And then if it's a yes, we continue on to the third phase, which is enrollment. And this is the process working with our backend systems to actually enroll the bank card so that when the person taps to pay, they automatically receive the reduced fare. So if we bring a bit more context to this, we can see the specific partners. The benefits app itself is quite lightweight and simple, but it has a very complex backend that we've worked through a number of federal and state agencies to make this happen, and also our private partner LittlePay. So currently, our identity provider is login.gov. And so it will be a requirement to have a login.gov account to go through this process. Of course, if a rider doesn't have one, they can create one as part of that process. And that is what we use to complete identity verification. And then we're also working with the California Department of Technology, and they offer an identity gateway that allows us to offload all of the management of the API calls and the management of personal information to this central gateway. So that means that agencies are no longer managing this. The California Department of Technology manages that information. And so what happens is the benefits app will ask the Department of CDT Identity Gateway to do a check for a certain type of enrollment or a certain type of eligibility, such as an older adult or a veteran. The identity gateway will then call out to that partner government agency, get a response, a yes or no, and return that to the benefits app. And provided that's a yes, we then allow enrollment of the bank card to using Little Pay, which is the transit processor, which manages fare calculation and actually computes the reduced fare on behalf of an agency. So we do see that in the future we'll be expanding to add additional authentication options, and in addition to login.gov, and then also on the transit processor side, we would love to work with some of our other transit processors such as Init, Cubic, Bytemark. We're all Enghouse. These are all possible ones that we would add in addition to Little Pay. So with that, I think we'll go through a brief demo of what a rider experiences when they go through the application. And right now I'm operating in our test environment. So this is entirely test login.gov account. It won't complete an actual enrollment, but it does use the same workflow. So Cal-ITP Benefits is available at benefits.calitp.org. And if a rider comes to this general site, the first step will be to select the transit agency that they're working with. We actually do have a direct link for each agency as well to bypass this pop-up. Today, I'm going to be working with our test agency, which is California State Transit, as part of the demo. But you can see that we are working with these transit agencies right now as far as access in the benefits app in production. So once I've selected the agency, I then have a menu of different options that I can select that are different, what we call enrollment pathways. Right now, this is showing all the different options that we do offer currently for enrollment. And this list can be tailored to match the policies for a particular agency. So if, for example, an agency wanted to only offer an older adult enrollment, it would simply present older adult. Or if there isn't, for example, the option to get a discount as a veteran, we can remove that from the list. So this last one is what we call an agency card. Both Santa Barbara, MTD, and MST both have an agency card enrollment. We're moving away from this model and working, exclusively with login.gov and other identity checks that don't involve a pre-existing enrollment. So today I'll go ahead and do a older adult enrollment. And after I select that, it tells me what I'll need to continue and complete the process, which is login.gov account and a contactless bank card. I will then choose get started with login.gov. And so at this point, you can see that Cal-ITP Benefits is working with login.gov. I've now left the benefits app and I am now authenticating with login.gov. And this would be the happy path where I already have an existing account. So I'll enter my senior information and have my two-factor code. And so you can see here that this is where the rider is told by login.gov specifically what information will be shared in order to verify eligibility for the benefit. So in this case, because I'm doing an age-based benefit, you can see that I'm only sharing date of birth. This is effectively the process for the rider to consent to share that information. So at this point now, the benefits app is communicated with the identity gateway. We've then done a check to see if this rider is indeed over 65, and in fact, I am. And so my eligibility is confirmed. So the last step is enrollment of my credit or debit card. So I'll choose enroll. And at this point now, we're connecting to Little Pay. And this is not a payment. What I'm doing here is entering my card information so that it can be registered. So it's not actually, oh, there we go, that's fine. Okay. All right, we'll do test user.
So as Andy's doing this, it's tokenizing the card so that every time that debit or credit card is tapped on one of the agencies that accepts Cal-ITP benefits, it will register the correct fare every time the rider taps that card, the correct reduced fare every time they tap that card.
So now that's that card information, those card details that I just provided are now registered with Little Pay. And so my benefits connected to my card. So now when I tap to pay, I automatically receive that reduced fare. So this is the extent of what I need to go through as a rider to complete enrollment. And now until in this case, because I'm a senior, my benefit will never expire. And so I can continue to use my card and receive that reduced fare. So we did see currently the different enrollment pathways that we have available, but I'd like to talk a little bit about our roadmap going forward so that all of you have a sense of what will be offered through the end of 2024 and into 2025. So currently we have 4 enrollment pathways. Of course, we just showed older adults or seniors, and that is again 65 plus is the age that we use to determine eligibility. Then we have a U.S. veteran check that we've worked with the Veterans Administration to implement. So we actually call their API to check for veteran status. Currently this enrollment pathway is available at MST. Just this month, we completed the technical implementation of our CalFresh card holders enrollment pathway, which means this is in essence a proxy for low income. So anyone who has received a benefit in the last 3 months on their CalFresh account will be able to enroll in a transit benefit for 1 year from the date they enroll. So the contracting is currently not complete, but we expect that this month. So this will be available for agencies beginning in August is what we expect. So and lastly, I mentioned there are agency cards. This is a solution in the interim while we're working towards full product viability. These agency cards are ways that an agency has already qualified a rider for a transit benefit. This simply allows them to look up that completed enrollment and then enroll their card for reduced fares. And as we look to the second half of 2024, our primary objective is to complete the Medicare cardholders enrollment pathway. And of course, this will bring us to full product viability in the sense that we can cover all FDA requirements, meaning seniors, Medicare cardholders, and disabled riders. And I'll touch on that in just a second. But of course, Medicare cardholders that are under 65, have largely already qualified in different ways for a disability discount. So something that we've looked at to make sure that we have a fully viable solution by the end of 2024 is to introduce an administrator interface. And we've actually been using this admin interface internally for our engineers to manage configurations for agencies without having to do that, using the command line. So much simpler way to manage different agencies, but we plan to roll that out to agency staff And the key feature that we'll be making available is the ability to do in-person eligibility and enrollment through Cal-ITP Benefits. So the way this would work is that a person would come into an agency, and the agency would use whatever eligibility checks they have in place, complete that in person. So that might be, for example, checking an ID or doing something similar. And then at that point, we would then give the ability to enroll the card through the admin interface. So, so this way we can support any transit benefit that an agency has that we might not support digitally. So, so this should really give us a lot of flexibility in terms of how we support agencies. And, you know, this could cover a variety of different people in the state who might not be able to create a login.gov account, might not have a social security number, or, for example, have a temporary disability that would qualify for a discount at that agency. Students, young people, Mexican nationals, all of these different rider groups will be covered by this solution. So it really allows us to offer a completely viable solution for an agency. And while we fully expect login.gov and digital enrollment to be a commonplace thing in maybe 5-10 years, we do recognize that this is something that's evolving and developing now. So this would be the way that we can get to viability while there's more broader adoption of login.gov and other identity provider solutions. So I'm going to transfer back to Erica to talk about what we all need from an agency and as part of our partnership together.
Absolutely. So what we look for as you look to launch Cal-ITP Benefits is a dedicated point of contact. It's always easiest if you have one person who is in charge. We can be in touch with, have Andy connect with directly. What would that person do? They would be creating and managing the transit fare processor configuration. So whether you use Little Pay or Init or any of the other transit processors, the fare calculation software that Andy mentioned and whose contracts we have up on the state website for our California Mobility Marketplace for those contracts for upgrading your fare system in order to accept debit and credit cards. We are also, as he mentioned, happy to work with vendors rather whose contracts are not up on the state site. So whether that's Cubic or Masabi, et cetera, we're happy to connect with any of them. Anybody who does the fare calculation for a contactless debit or credit card, we are happy to work with. So that requires on your side just somebody to create what are commonly called the products in your back office software for the fare calculation software. And we can show you how to do that. We just need somebody to access their own system to do it. And then you will probably get questions from your customers as they look to enroll and use this benefit. So we love when it's one point of contact to train your customer care staff members. We do provide the materials in order to do that. And then someone we can just coordinate ongoing work with to support and market the program. Speaking of marketing, if you could move to the next slide. We do have collateral that we've created, templates that are adaptable for your agency. They're available in English and in Spanish. They can be printed and posted, distributed to your community partners. Anyone who your agency's riders commonly hear from, like for instance, and when we've worked with Monterey Salinas Transit, if you want to pop over to the next slide, Andy. Thank you. We created these initially for them. You can see top left, that's a car card, something that gets posted on the interior of their buses. Underneath that is a rack card. They have racks on each of their buses that give more information about Cal-ITP Benefits, along with a QR code to get there directly and to ask more questions. And you can see it in Spanish in the middle there. And that's another, the rack card on the far right. Those are also their flyers that get posted on their customer service care windows. They have a couple of those in Monterey and Salinas. And so they also use those flyers as to how to explain what is Tap to Ride. You know, how do I know if I have a contactless card? and then how to get one if I don't already have one, as well as how to enroll. They hand those out to their community partners, folks who at MST work with the local senior centers and folks who work with agricultural workers in the salad bowl that is Salinas, or salad bowl of California, that is. So these are materials that we created that we've turned into templates that you can just pop your agency logos into and that you can adapt to your own needs and pass out to your staff and pass out to trusted community partners to spread the word. Next slide, please, and I'll turn it back to you, Andy.
Yeah, and one thing to mention as well, in addition to these assets, we've also developed a partnership with Transit App, and we recently did a campaign with MST to promote benefits using banners within the app. So we are exploring other ways to promote the product and improve adoption once the program has been implemented. So we will share this deck with everyone who's joining us today. And there are a number of different resources here. This is an open source application, so all of our code and documentation is available on GitHub. And you can also see a more detailed version of our product roadmap there. If you want to see specific walkthroughs, we do have those on YouTube so that you can see how the application works in addition to the older adults flow that I demoed today. You can visit the production app, and then we do have a monthly update that we send out that provides details on adoption, product updates, news, things, anything related to benefits, so that you can keep track of our progress as we evolve. So I believe that's it. And our contact information is here. And please, if you have any questions, you can always reach out to us at hello@calitp.org. And then, of course, we're also on LinkedIn. So I believe now we will transition over to our Q&A so that we can answer any specific questions that our audience has today.
I see the first question from Ramon. Has Cal-ITP worked with GenFair? Not yet, right, Andy? But we'd be happy to.
Yes, and so currently, right, we are, and they would be another transit processor in addition to Little Pay. We fully intend to expand those options in the back end, and it's something that will require a development effort, but we're really eager to expand into new vendors.
And then I see Lauren has a two-part question. First question, can users enroll more than one card into the Cal-ITP Benefits program? The answer to that is yes. And in working with MST, we recognized that when you have more than one card and you're not sure which one, you may not be sure, you may not recall which one you've registered. So we've also created cute little, in their case, bus decals, but also train or light rail decals that you can stick onto your card so that you can remember which of those cards you've registered. And Andy, I'll let you take part two, which is there a portal where riders can visit to update or change the card information?
So a good question. And in addition to, of course, credit cards and debit cards expire. So the way this works now is that because we don't have accounts, and again, Benefits doesn't store any personal information, each rider needs to go through and register a new card. So similar to the, if, for example, a card expired and you would need to update your payment information on a website, you would need to go through the enrollment process again. And so it's really a matter of repeating that rather than updating any existing information.
If you have a question, feel free to throw it into the chat. If something comes up later, you can always email us at hello@calitp.org. You'll reach all of us. And we will, if you're not sure who your customer success account manager is, we're happy to connect you to them.
And actually, looking at our poll, it looks like we do have a couple agencies currently using contactless. Two of them, in fact, it looks like. Are both of those GenFair, or are they? What is the other transit processor?
And as the poll participants to answer that question, I see another question from Lauren. Can the program be linked to fare capping? Yes, absolutely. We love fare capping, and one of the most reasons we love Tap to Ride in general is the ability to pay as you go, allowing your riders to tap to cap up until the fare caps that you as your agency set. So whether that is daily, weekly, or monthly, instead of having to have that money up front, you can tap to pay as you go until you hit those marks, and then you can ride unlimited for the rest of the month. So you can see on the MST materials that we had on that previous slide, you know, you never pay more than X amount on a day, a week, a month. It also works with, they have a flat $2 for 2 hours fare, including transfers at MST. So for all of their riders who register with Cal-ITP Benefits, that is capped at $1. It's $1 per fare, and then capped at basically half of what their day, week, and month products are, fare capping products are. So yes, it works that way, and we love it. And that's part of what, when we ask for one point of contact at your agency, we walk you through how to set up those fare caps within your transit processor. Ramon asks, are you able to send this recording to everyone? Yes, and we will also be posting it. We're planning on putting it up on YouTube. We have a Cal-ITP YouTube channel that we'll put it up on. And then Jackie asks, for an agency that works with seniors and works directly with MST, what do you see their role in promoting the program? Andy, would you like to take that?
Yeah, sure. I think we really I think is one of our challenges getting the word out that this option is available, right, for our riders to enroll. So we really are looking for agencies or groups, nonprofits that work with these specific rider groups so that we can promote the solution more broadly. So if you so please reach out to me and we can begin that dialogue and see how we can work together.
And then just to build off of that, we have on Monterey Salinas Transit, for the continuing examples website, we have created FAQs for them. We've created an entire landing page, and these are templated materials that we can provide to any agency. But in order for riders to see that that's there, it's getting this information into their hands. So that's why we've created those rack cards, those car cards, those flyers that can be handed out at events, when they table at various different, like their county fair, the senior days, etc. They hand those materials. So that's the type of a partnership that we in general ask for, is just to pass along the materials. You don't have to create them on your own. And if you have a question, as Andy noted, on how to do this, we're happy to assist in pushing it out. And Lauren has a question about contactless. Is Cal-ITP Benefits currently limited to contactless cards, or does it include chip and swipe as well? It is contactless cards, ones that are tappable, that have the little symbol that looks a bit like a Wi-Fi symbol tilted on its side. If you see that on your debit or credit card, that means you can tap to pay. And the payment readers that are on board these buses and light rail and trains have that matching symbol, the same thing you'd see on the point of sale terminals when you're tapping at the grocery store, or at a taco shop, taco truck, or a coffee shop. Anything else we can assist with? If not, I'm gonna say have a wonderful rest of your day, and we will get you, everybody who registered for this webinar, the slide deck, which has the hyperlinks, so you can go on to explore the additional resources. We can also send you those templates on how to promote Cal-ITP Benefits if you'd like. And of course, we have our email address there if you have any questions that come up after you leave us here today. We are always happy to assist in any way we can. Again, whether it's a question about Cal-ITP benefits or about contactless payments, about accessing state money for purchasing off of the state contracts, or if you have a question about how to put your general transit feed specification into Google Maps, Apple Maps, Transit app, etc., we are happy to assist with all of the above. Anything you need, we're here for you as your single point of contact for Caltrans and Cal-ITP. So give us a shout. We're happy to assist. Have a wonderful rest of your day, and thank you for joining us.
Thank you. Thank you for coming.